All right, so let's talk about the whole situation. So look, are we ready there? You already talking about your rap? You talking about what you have for lunch and shit?
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, so I mean, Hove as a black man has every single right to feel that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's entitled to that that position. You know what I mean? He's black, I'm Mexican. I'm drunk as I'm having a good ass time. He's not into it. Okay, let's move on. I was trying to continue my story of this fool fucking doing some redactivity. You know what I'm saying? Also fixated on that. I couldn't even get past the conversation.
Yeah, you couldn't even.
Nevertheless, we're sharing a mic going like this, back and forth, back and forth. But you know, we never had the conversation after the stream. Yeah, I've seen him make content about it. I'm like, bro, you don't have to report to everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I only report to my mother.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, nigga, everybody wanted to hear about like what he had to say and shit like that. And shout out to Hove and everybody else that you know had that spoke.
Because every single moment before, I mean, as long as I can recall, after that, it was all green. Yeah, you know what I mean? We're dabbing each other. We had a good ass time. You feel me?
What did he say? Like in his you say he made content about it.
Well, he just tagged in it. I'm like, I ain't feeling.
Well, he went on his own page and talked about it. Then he went on Reels and talked about it. He was talking about it last night with Pun. I was on Discord with him last night actually. And it was just like everybody wanted to hear what he had to say.
I feel like maybe he felt like he had to say something because it was like a polarizing topic where it was like, you got to think about it. A lot of their viewers are Hispanic and probably from LA, and they probably say it too. So they're like, how would you really like? Everybody was on his ass in the comments being like he fucked up the vibe, or like, you know, there was a couple of people saying like, oh, I would have said something too, or whatever. Everybody has their own opinions or whatever.
Yeah, but I feel like once I learned the context of why he was upset about that, then so basically like where he's grew up.
Where did he grow up?
In Compton. Okay. So the Mexican gangs, I guess, over there.
It's very hostile over there, yeah.
It's a different, you know, when they say it, they mean it's like in a derogatory term, I guess he said.
No, I felt that.
And, well, I guess what people were telling me, I don't really know. I got the context, I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, context or not, there's just some black people that are just not okay with it. Yeah. And I feel like it's a case-by-case situation where it's like, that's completely up to them. And that's why, like, you know, like, not you, but like some other people that I know that just like spam the N-word. I'm just like, you can't get that comfortable around everybody. Specifically, you were drunk that day. Like, I hang out with you on a regular basis, and I rarely even hear you say it. And like, when you do, it's never in no fucking mean way. It's never you're not talking shit. Like, I mean, like, not even to get into it, I've literally seen you do something that like showed me the exact opposite of why you were not like that, and I fuck with you. Like, we ain't gonna get into it.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
You feel me? Yeah. Like, just know this is a solid ass nigga right here, and like, I know that you don't mean no harm or nothing when you say it, but at the same time, I feel like
I can't tell a black man how he should feel about other race using that
1000%. But like,
that's the way I feel about it. I ain't really tripping on it.
No, for sure. And like, at the end of the day, that's why I didn't feel like I needed to say nothing either, because I was just like, I'm not gonna tell him that he's wrong for like feeling some type of way. And I don't think that he really pressed you. I feel like everybody just wanted to like make that into a title.
There's alcohol involved.
Yeah, like he wasn't really like he wasn't coming at you on some like hostile ass shit. Like, hey nigga, like, it wasn't none of that.
He didn't stand up. He wasn't in my face.
It wasn't none of that, bro.
It was just a quick like, hey, like what you doing about this word? You feel me?
Yeah. But that's why.
But there's money to be made off these clips, and there's like moments to capture, which. Shout out to community. I'm not sure if this was a big miss or a big win from them, but like they went out. They didn't post any of the clips that were surfacing around like YouTube and Instagram. Like all the blogs posted. Like,
oh my god,
there's like dozens of blogs, right?
People posted that.
It was just like it was like the Rasa blogs. It was like black blogs that were posting about it. Like, yo, what do y'all think about this shit? I'm like, oh my goodness, bro. Like, we're going through a tariff fucking meltdown right now. Y'all are worried about the wrong thing, my boy.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Yeah. But look, it's one of those things where it's like.
But shout out to Hove, man.
Yeah, shout out to Hove, man.
No, but look, that's what I'm saying. It's one of those things where it's so polarizing that people are gonna have something to say.
Especially if you know, I understand he's from Compton, but if you're from out of town, like that's not like, you know, usually Hispanics lean more towards, you know, Caucasian culture. If you're in Idaho or something like that per se.
Okay.
You know, and I can't speak for everyone who lives in the Midwest, but like there's definitely stereotypes of, you know, how they see Mexicans in throughout the country are like, okay, they're not part of the culture. They don't like this. They didn't grow up in this environment. They're not like this. But Los Angeles is definitely its own playground and its own
for sure
ecosystem. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Where's the mutual respect and like we feed off of each other? You know what I mean?
1000%. 1000%. And like at the end of the day,
we share each other's cultures. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
No, that's 1000% facts. It's like it's all integrated kinda in LA, but then there's still if we're being honest, there is still a lot of separation.
It gets broken down into gang,
especially on some gang shit,
gang influence,
especially on some jail shit,
especially on some prison influence, which I'm like totally against. Just because it's like it's so fucked up. That's all perpetuated. I understand that there's cliques and there's things that have been set up for hundreds of years, but it's being perpetuated by the government because they're literally housing and making sure that this shit goes by their rules. You know what I'm saying? I understand they want to save lives and shit, but what happens, and this is a deep topic, because what happens is all those prison politics and all those jail rules get brought into gangs, and when those gang rules it gets injunctioned into there, then that gets spread into their friends. And those non-affiliate friends start thinking that way, start thinking that as if they were in prison. And start having to like run a certain way and have like prejudice against different races. And that's really the core of the problem, if you want to ask me.
No, that's a fact. But we could also say too, it could even go deeper back into fuck some gang shit, nigga, just on some casual at the crib shit. Like you're fucking, like your parents, your fucking aunt, your aunt. Like,
it comes from ignorance.
And it might not even be like some like, sought after hate or some shit like that, but it could just be in casual.
And let's talk about this for a second, because I could speak as a first generation Mexican that had a black best friend in middle school. And I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to give context for the situation, right?
Yeah.
First time invited into my house, right? It was a whole thing. I'm being real. It was like mijo, like who is this kid and everything like that, because they were ignorant.
Yeah.
They themselves as
your
people who are
first generation though, right? I mean,
you're
first
generation. I'm first generation in the sense that I was the first one of their bloodline to be born here.
Exactly.
So they were born there, migrated, etc. But the fact that in their head, they were institutionalized culturally to believe that like, okay, blacks can be dangerous. You gotta be careful. They had all these weird ass ideas that like they didn't go to middle school where it was blacks, it was white kids. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So they weren't able to understand that, and like it became a thing where like my dad was like, "What the hell? I fuck with my dog Lanzea." You know what I'm saying? Shout out Lanzea. But it's something that is pretty unique.
It was the same shit on the other side where like I remember like. My mom specifically, she used to be like scared when I would go to girls' cribs because like, like she knew I was hanging out with some white girl, hanging out with some Spanish girl. Like
no one knew it's most 10 out of 10 a fucking white girl. Yo, if I was your mom, I'd be petrified.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, because she was on some like, I don't want you.
Because you're going regardless. Yeah. Knowing you and your mindset, like,
listen,
fuck, he's going to go regardless.
No, that's funny.
So look, so it got to a point to where like, she would get mad at me, but she would sometimes let me bring girls over. But it would have to be like a girl that I was like dating or like she knew or something. Like she wouldn't just let me bring random bitches over.
No random snow buddy.
Yeah, but she used to be getting mad on some like, bro, like you gonna be at one of these motherfuckers' cribs one day and they gonna be like, this little niggas in the house. Who the fuck is this? And like that was some shit that I always thought that she was like tripping about until I got older. And I literally know, too.
Yeah,
a white girl that we know, that her fucking dad shot her boyfriend in the crib and got away with it. I don't go too deep into the story.
What?
Was it
white on black? Don't yeah.
I want to go too deep
into it too. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, she probably watching this. She gonna grab a Kleenex.
Nah,
bro, rest in peace, that man.
No,
he died.
No, he died. Yeah, nigga, the dad shot white dad. Now, mind you, they used to know that he would be over at the crib all the time, but like she started fucking up in school or something like that, and they was getting strict on her, like he can't be over here no more. She was like sneaking the nigga in, like having them wait under the bed until they went to sleep, all types of shit, which also was on her too. You shouldn't have been doing that either. They got caught, and she still tried to pump fake it. She tried to act like she walked him outside, but she didn't. Nigga, the dad pops in the room, you feel me? Ups pole on him. She tries to like get in between. I don't know what happened. Boom. Nigga got shot, bro. And died. Mind you, nigga, she testified against the pops. And he still went to jail. I mean, he still got away with it.
Damn.
And like that was just it. Like
that wasn't even in LA. That
live in the same house.
That's just a general case of like racism.
Right now, still?
Yeah.
No. I met her in LA and she told me this in LA.
This happened like 10, 20 years ago.
No, hell no. It didn't happen that long ago.
All right, you don't gotta give him references.
I know, right? I know.
It happened 25 years ago, bro.
It happened fucking 50 years
in
ago.
Detroit.
But anyway, listen, that was something that like I didn't hear this story until I was an adult. You feel me? So when I hear this story from the homegirl, nigga, I remember like my mom was still alive when she told me this. My mom was sick. She wasn't worried about this at all. But I went home and told her like, hey, gang, you was right. Like you used to like. It's so funny once you get older. It's certain shit that your parents used to tell you, and that you thought that they was just tripping.
Yeah, that shit resonate for sure.
Huh? You guys knew the girl?
Yeah.
And so let's say
I done smashed her and everything.
Nah. It couldn't have been me because
I didn't crack that bitch with the homies. We all cracked this bitch before.
So it could have been you.
No, she's just we never went to no dad's house, and I don't go to no bitch's crib ever. No, never that.
This is when she lived with her parents in where she's from.
Yeah, coming to Sandcastle.
We didn't meet her till she was in LA, gang. Like we didn't.
I know who y'all talking about now. Yeah,
y'all are a devious.
No.
That's
the worst part. We can't be talking about this.
Y'all are a devious.
But the last thing,
I was like, hold on, wait.
The last conversation I want to have about this whole racism thing is like,
that's why I only mess with Linglings. You tripping, nigga? You might get popped by by grandpa.
Landea's family was kind of on the same tip, you know, like they embraced me and they loved me and shit like that, but they almost you know, they were like curious about me and shit like that. You know, like, oh, this Mexican kid, like, let's see how he integrates with you know, my son, and like we ended up having a really good.
You used to eat dinner at their crib and shit.
Yeah, like shit.
She's like cooking fire ass food.
Yeah,
and shit.
bro. They had one of them big ass cribs. Like in Compton, they got fat ass cribs. Let's keep it a stack. Keep it a stack.
You said their pops be cooking too all the time, right?
Landea's dad, I don't think he's known for cooking. My dad, he's a caterer and everything.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, where's your boy? Where's your boy at the crib when your dad?
Yeah, he was there like every other day.
That's fine.
You know what I mean? But and he kind of got like it's an interesting thing that happened to him. He kind of got like pacified. You know what I mean? Like he just started listening to corridos. And
he learned to speak Spanish.
Yes,
damn, that nigga learned to speak.
I call him right now. He's gonna sound like Drex the Joint to you on the phone.
You're like, hell no, nigga.
Nigga. On the gang, nigga.
On the gang, nigga. What the fuck?
Yeah,
fucking dumb as fuck, nigga.
But last thing I do want to talk. The next thing we're gonna segue into after the whole.
Before we segue, let me just end it off with now that you say that, I do see why motherfuckers feel some type of way, because look at that situation where this nigga is like a dark-skinned Hispanic nigga, and he, you know, like he doesn't identify as black, but everybody else identifies as black, right?
He's in a tough situation.
I know, and he's a bound to, like, that video was crazy because even though it wasn't him saying it, it's like those are all your friends. Right. Like if y'all niggas was all on some shit like that, I'm not fucking with y'all for real.
Yeah, that's
but
crazy.
Like
I had to check somebody on that.
That's what I'm saying. But like that's crazy because like what especially for him, what is he supposed to do in that situation? It's like you almost
kind of, I don't know, man.
No, but like
they said that kid got dealt with,
and I felt that, but it's like his reaction in that moment didn't really seem like he had a problem.
They were pumped up, and you know the sad part about like Rasa sometimes is like they look at someone like Drex the Joint, and even though they can't understand like the historical reason of why like he's technically Mexican but still technically black.
No, I feel like black people don't understand that.
Yeah,
like
people are like, oh,
nah,
come on, bro, you black.
I mean, there are black people in Mexico, though.
Yeah, there was. Definitely, and it's like saying there's Koreans in America. No shit, you know what I mean? The truth is, like, Mexico's border is, like, the weakest border, and all different countries come in there. Sometimes they get stuck in TJ. You go TJ, a lot of Haitians.
Yeah. Damn.
There's literally tens of people from Ukraine. You know what I mean? It becomes a melting pot of the whole world, really. Yeah. Just to get to this accent point through TJ, especially the walking border. But it's a culture shock whenever you go to the TJ walking border. But
wait, but then like, okay, think about like do people in New York? I mean, well, there's Dominicans everywhere, but there's a heavy Dominican influence in New York.
Also, I want to say this thing. Hold on, I got an important thing to say.
Come on, bro. All right.